So when I see you and your mom, man, it makes me smile, brother, because
but
have that. But hold on, let me get this. A
go
lot of
ahead.
people don't have that, but now let me say this. For those who do, I mean, that's just me seeing it from what I can see. I don't know everything about it.
Right,
But
right.
about just that alone can make a lot of people smile. Like, man, that's a beautiful thing. I didn't have just that really. But what I'm saying about this, even in imperfection, you're still required to stand as a man. And when you do, expect, like you told as a recruiter, you would tell those young recruits, when you sign this, expect to go to war. So if you're
Yeah,
a man, when you sign up to be a man, when you don't sign up, when you accept being a man, expect to go to war.
exactly.
So go ahead. What you had?
And just nothing taken from yours, because that's when you can really stand up more as a man, when you know there's difficulties, and the fact that you still stood up even though you didn't have a good relationship. You still stood up as a man to do what was right. You took responsibility,
Right.
and you didn't run from it. It's the same for me. Like, say, me and my mom. See, my mom, she don't have medical issues, but the normal of age things. She can still live and move. And dude,
Right.
she moved. Trust me, she will walk us under the ground. This lady can move. All right, 80 years old. She be gone.
Yeah, that's my mother, 80. She'll be 81 here in a couple of days, 26.
Yeah, you see. So what you say is in all perspective, because I didn't wait for my mom to get sick to a point where she couldn't take care of herself,
Mm-hmm.
or things that just for my self being or whatever. I saw that she deserves better from where she was at in New York,
Right.
you
That's
know.
that's good.
So I got with my wife, we talked about it. That's a real woman. We sat down, me being a real man. I said, you know what, we don't have to, because all my brothers and sisters, they don't live in New York. I
Right.
have cousins and my aunt, but everybody else is gone. So I'm like, why is my mother in New York? Yeah, she's got family there, but she doesn't live with them. So now here she is in an apartment by herself trying to do things.
Mm-hmm.
It's either one or two things. We either going to find her a place with my aunt, closer to my aunt, or a place where it's a lot better, or she's going to come down here with us.
Right.
And the decision turned out to be, well, she's just going to come down here.
Real man movement. That's all I'm gonna
You,
say.
you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
didn't run from her to say, well, she can still take care of herself. Why am I going to burden myself? But see, that's a coward talking.
Go ahead now.
That's your family. Why
Mm-hmm.
why why are you saying you're running from it? Because I guarantee if you need some, she'll be the first one you call.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give me that bull that you run. Dude, stand up, do what's right.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
As a man
Do what's right.
and a woman. Yeah. And then, like I said, this channel more we call it the real man movement, but we support real woman wisdom.
Yes.
From like you learn from good women of wisdom encourage responsible masculinity in men.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple as that. Like I said, I learned some things like I use my Aunt Mary, like watching her, because here's with me, and this is what I mean. All this relates to manhood. Because there was brokenness in the family, the women of the family stood up. They came in,
Yeah.
and my two brothers at the time to
Mm-hmm.
to handle that responsibility, to be motherly and that responsibility of family.
Mm-hmm.
So that came from strong women that who applauded masculinity. All they wanted was you to be a man. They didn't
Exactly.
want you to be no weak man. They didn't never they wanted you to be a man. They really wanted you to go, okay, go, you got to do manly things, but do them responsible.
Right.
I'm saying. Now, a lot of times, that did, like you said, there's no perfection, even though you can you can do the right thing in your house, you can do the right thing towards your family, and they still go the way they want to go.
All you can do is pray on it that when they go out the doors, they will take what you instilled in them and do the right thing.
Right. And that's what I mean by imperfection, though. So when people hear this, some young perturbed brother, my man, I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking to you.
Exactly.
I'm talking to y'all, all the tough guys. I know y'all tough, but here's the thing. I love each and every one of you, but we're nothing but dust. Anyways, we all gotta die.
Mm-hmm.
How strong you are. I'm not as strong as I used to be. 500 something pounds all the time. I don't do that no more.
Mm-hmm.
But we dust. We're dust. Meaning that
Mm-hmm.
we all die.
Yeah.
Meaning that the strength that we think we have, the what we think we're doing right now, is really not much in the sight of God.
Yes.
We're not all that. So I don't want nobody to ever think I'm trying to portray myself as being all that. Because I know I'm not.
Right.
But I'm a man. I am a man. And I can identify the needs and the concerns of a man and mankind. Why?
Right.
I had to defend this country. I had to be on the battlefield and fight for homosexuality. I had to fight for for racism.
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight for that because really that's what we wind up doing. But at the same time, no matter because of that and because of the imperfection of America, we still fought for it as men,
Mm-hmm.
stand for it as men. And so when we see uh, area where structure's needed, there's an accountability that comes from us. Because I can guarantee you, if I'm somewhere and something happened, my killer instincts go kick in. They all,
Yeah.
and they have all that's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a threat, and I just automatically kick in because that's how we were trained to do.
Exactly.
So even in the sight of brokenness, which we experienced, even in the sight of not having completeness, what we call completeness, even in the sight of not having the financial means, all of these things is the same complaint that a lot of people make in society.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have, and this is the excuse of why they act this way. No, the
Mm-hmm.
only excuse you got for acting inappropriate is unless you got a mental condition. Now, if you got a mental condition, then you need help. And understand that because in our community, mental illness is something else we got to talk about. I grew up in a house with mental. That's what I'm saying. With my mother suffered from mental illness when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
and then with the brokenness from my father, kicked it into overdrive. And so I understand that a lot of times we can misunderstand inappropriate behavior for mental illness, and not mental illness for inappropriate behavior is what I'm saying. We're not
Right. Right.
as being mental illness. We're
Right.
just looking at it as being inappropriate behavior. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another area of concern. Now, how do we really do that? How do we address mental illness? Well, we have to first of all identify the fact that it exists in our community
Yes.
at a rate that's not getting the attention that it needs. So one thing I always tell all these guys, these so-called fast talkers, fast talkers out there, boy, they talk fast. If you want to talk fast about something that's effective, talk about mental illness in the Black community.
And I don't mean to cut you off right quick. I just want to bring up this point because you brought up Kanye.
Yeah.
Okay. He says he suffered from mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and he might do. And I
Mm-hmm.
think he does have some issues. And I pray that the brother gets some help and,
Right.
and things are good. I don't wish nothing bad on nobody,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but my issue is how he knows it and he uses it to put out stuff that he knows is all jacked up,
Right.
but he's gonna say, "Oh, I'm allowed because of my mental illness." That's not a real man.
No.
Stop. Stop. Why are you going to use your illness as an excuse to do dumb stuff just so you can be reprieved or excused?
Yeah.
What is that? That's not a real man to
No,
use
not a real
your
man.
illness
No.
to do wrong stuff. Don't do that.
Right.
Stop.
Right. Well, what I call that T man, that's abstract behavior more than anything. His
Yeah.
behavior is abstract and it brings more attention to him so he can make more money. You got to think about that. Now, see, this is
Yes.
what I mean by people like that there are demigods. They're dangerous to urban communities. They're
Hmm.
dangerous to any culture that follows that. If you're into fashion, if you're in to the hip hop culture, which many cultures are. Look, from every culture is involved in the hip hop community at one level, into the urban community, whether it's the dress, whether it's the lingo, the music, or whatever. But that's
Yeah.
abstract behavior and it's deceptive, bro. Because if he
Very.
really, if people around that brother really cared about him, and if he really does have mental problems, well, you would be exhausting all of your efforts to get him help.
Get him
Because
help.
it's like I did it with my mother, man, and it
Hmm.
had to exhaust every effort to get her help.
Right.
And
Right.
I even took it on myself and had to deal with the repercussions of mental illness. I know what that's really like. It's not comfortable for nobody, man.
No.
It's real. And if it's not real in him, then I'm calling BS on him already. And that nobody should support that.
No.
That's not genius.
You can't go on TV talking about it and saying, I got a problem. This is why I do this.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm going to do it anyway because this is why I'm doing. Then why are you still on TV? You need to be in somebody's hospital
Sure.
getting help to fix that instead of exploiting that.
I'm calling BS on it anyway. Nothing wrong with that boy.
Yeah.
You know, he just soft. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, to tell the truth, he's just a soft dude, bro.
Hmm.
And this is what people need to understand. You can follow who you want. I don't care. You can believe what you want. But if that person's character is not lining up with structure, responsibility, and accountability, then you following a
It,
fool.
it's a wrap.
So here's the deal. This man's life has been publicly exhibited by the world. His
Hmm.
abstract behavior, he puts it out to the world. Now, is he doing
Yes.
that for an effect? Yes. Because if he was really suffering from mental illness, like he said, first he say he is and he's not. Well, here's the thing about mental illness: it's not what they say, it's what they do.
Exactly.
So if you're still trying to make money and you making money and you in control of all of your affairs, nothing wrong with you. But what you're doing, you're using the community to your advantage to
Hmm.
damage them more so you can become more wealthy. So I have
Yes.
a problem with people like that. I call BS on him. He's weak and he's soft.
Yes.
And that's what the world needs to know. And it's not about, yeah, it's not, I'm not talking about another brother. I'm talking about a person who has an influence over
Mhm.
a community that is being deteriorated because of those particular concepts that he that he highlight.
Mhm.
You know, don't make it about the black community now. When you talk about, oh, this slavery is a choice, and then some people want to try to get into an intellectual conversation. No, it ain't no intellect. You know how many people suffer from slavery, man? How many people still suffer psychologically from the concept and the understanding of it? For you to say something publicly about your people so abrasive in a time when many people are hurting and still suffering from the effects of it here in America, and because you're wealthy and you don't suffer from those effects because of your wealth, you feel you can say anything.
You say anything, and then you want to blame it on mental health.
It's irresponsible and it's a weakness. The
Yes.
brother weak. Now they are, if you were just a weak person and follow that, then that's what you want to follow. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what that is. That's just not strength. It's not courage, and there's no structure because you can look
No.
at it. A week before he got all white lives matter shirts. They're not okay. That's only to be abrasive to the concept that's surrounding Black Life Matters. That's the only reason you did it.
Yeah, that's it.
Attention. So he's a attention seeker, and many times our communities allow attention seekers to be the voice. He's not
Yes.
no voice for me. He's not no voice here with the Real Man movie. Now
They.
the brother would correct himself
Mhm.
and stand like a man, brother. You
They
know,
want to be the center of attention.
right. If you want to be the center of attention, well, be the one of responsibility. Let that be the center of attention. So,
Yep.
so enough about a fool. Let's move on.